Hey cats, it's Ed, boil in the bag, Bud here. Today we're talking about Adidas, the Boston 10 to be precise. A shoe which I found somewhat underwhelming on my initial excursions. Can it ignite my fires on the long run? Let's dive into this hulk of a midsole and find out. Thanks for tuning in, cats and kittens. I'm back with another video for you. If you're new here and you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when we roll out those new videos for you. It also really helps us out at EDDBUD Running Shoe Reviews if you give this video a thumbs up like. Dankeschön. So, a shoe here that I picked up by popular demand. The viewers begged me to get it and I did. And I was really pleased about how great it is. Technically, it should work out really well for me. I love the Adios 6 from Adidas and also their top line race shoe, the Adios Pro 2. I really loved the SL20 last year as well. That was a dynamite shoe. So today took the Boston 10 out on a 12-mile run, 19.3 kilometers total. That gives me a weekly total of 50 miles again, which is just under 80 kilometers. Really happy with that, especially considering that it's been mighty warm here in the UK. It reckons it was about 16 degrees earlier, but I think it's probably a bit higher than that. I know Gunners went out earlier for a long run. He reckoned it was about 23 degrees out there near Somerton, and Yeovil and Somerton aren't too far away from each other, around about the same time. So yeah, I'm always a bit suspect about the temperature reading that I get, from Strava at least. Good to be keeping the consistency back again. 50-mile weeks in a row, building up that fitness. The aerobic base is strong in this one. I've said many times about the temperatures over here in the UK. When it gets to about 24, 25, that's pretty warm for us here. I know that other countries have much warmer weather, and you probably get used to that, but we're not used to it here. It's normally pretty drab, and it's raining or foggy. When it gets to that type of temperature, it's uncomfortable for us, so, you know, bear with us. Just try and ignore our murmurings about the weather. So total time on today's run of 1 hour 34:45. I did stop midway to throw water over my face and complain about the heat, but I kept the pace on average just under 8 minutes per mile. So I think it's about 5 minutes per kilometre, something like that. Though I did throw in 3 miles at my target half marathon goal pace in the second half of the run. So that's 6 minutes 51 seconds per mile, or 16 per kilometre. That should get me in under 1 hour 30 on the half, if I can do several of those linked together. Kept the rest of the run in pretty much sustainable sort of pace, and there's about 100 metres or 321 feet of elevation gain over the course of my route. It was a very slightly different route to normal. I did take in anything that looked like it might have shade. I kept spotting it and saying, I'm going to run over there, there's shade. That seems like a better idea. So shoe-wise, how did these translate to the long run? Pretty good actually is the answer, but there were a few caveats to that. Upper-wise, I did mess around with socks and lacing quite a bit before I even headed out in these. And on completion of my run, I took off my left sock to find that the back of the shoe and the sock were completely soaked in blood. There's only a small blister on the back of my left foot, but it's kind of like that situation if you've got a guitar and you cut your finger slightly. By the end of a song, the whole front of the guitar is just covered. It's nothing to worry about, and I've just got a plaster on it now. It's fine, but it was really troubling actually when I first saw it, because I thought my foot was wet or something, but yeah, it wasn't. It doesn't seem to wash out either. I've tried for about half an hour to try and wash it out of the back of the shoe, and there's some still there. So yeah, the problem of having a white running shoe, I suppose. That's after quite a bit of work as well. You can see it's still there in the back of the heel of the shoe. Scrubbing and some elbow grease has made it a bit better, but yeah. An unwanted reminder and a memory of today's run whenever I put the shoe on. I've got to say that my feet were very toasty today. There's a lot of upper here in the Boston 10, and after a few miles I was dreaming of something a lot lighter, like the Reebok Run Fast Pro upper, or even that of the Adidas SL20 from last year. All the very best running shoes that we've ever worn, guys, they just kind of melt away, don't they, once you start running. The upper doesn't really feel all that present, it just drifts away. That isn't really the case in the Boston 10. It's just very present. I knew it was there on foot all the time. And I still don't understand the tongue loop position in comparison to where the padding is there and the eyelets. None of it seems to line up properly. I mean, yes, this padded area here takes some of the pressure away from the top of the foot when you tie the laces together, but they don't seem to line up properly, and you end up with the last crossed over laces here sitting just on top of the padding, which it feels like it should be just below it. It's very weird. Just feels like a bit of a design oversight to me. So the whole upper just feels very present on the foot, and sadly I did have some rubbing there in the back of the heel on the left shoe. My left foot's not quite as long as my right foot. Maybe that was the issue, but the shoe seemed locked down enough over the top of my foot. I didn't really feel rubbing there until it was too late. That's despite a runner's knot as well, and no apparent slipping in the heel, so do be mindful of that, guys. Midsole, midsole, midsole now. So midsole wise, the foams are beginning to ease up and open up a little bit, just breaking in slightly. It did feel a little bit more nimble than the first few efforts, so if you're going to buy this shoe and expect it to be superb out the box, I think again. I'm still feeling that the shoe is very demanding. It's sort of like a dominating type shoe. It makes you run in a certain way. Always a bit wary of shoes like that. I like running naturally, having a feeling that I don't have to adjust what I'm doing. Every time I've ever felt that a shoe demands I run a certain way with it, I'm always a bit conscious, hang on, am I going to get injured here? Is this going to make me do something that isn't natural to my body? If we do things that are unnatural to our bodies too much, too quickly, well, that tends to lead down a dark path. I mean, I get a similar feel to the Adidas 6 when I land in that mid to forefoot area with some gusto as well. But the shoe feels a little bit like it's trying to be a glide ride or a zoom fly type copy, I suppose. But its extra weight in comparison to both of those other shoes just mean it's a bit of a fuzzy facsimile. Even at my target half marathon pace miles later in the run, I didn't feel any real benefit from that midsole technology that Adidas have incorporated into the Boston 10. I don't really feel that lightstrike is squashy enough that it needs some sort of plate in the heel. It just makes the shoe feel very tough and somewhat overbuilt back there. Okay at my steady pace, but nothing to really get excited about, I suppose. It's like one of those meals where you've just got pasta and cheese grated on top of it. It's gonna satisfy you, but no seasoning. The Adidas 6 is that meal, but with a garlic bread side dish, a splash of olive oil, and some lovely asparagus. Quite hungry now, actually, thinking about that. Outsole. Well, it worked well enough in today's bone-dry temperatures, egg-cooking pavement heat. I don't recommend you go and do that. That's a crazy idea, but I imagine if you did put an egg on top of my car right now, it'd probably cook. Sadly, the outsole traction fins here are very similar to the Adidas 6 in their Dyson-like properties. They just absorb and suck up those small stones, and then they get impacted into the foam after a little while. They sort of clack on the surface and then bury themselves a bit deeper into the outsole before EDDBUD comes along with his rock liberator. Grip was really good at pace, I have to be honest, and even on some loose dirt and stuff it felt good. I didn't feel unstable at all. There's some good grip and toe off. So good, reasonable multi-terrain ability here in the Boston 10. I have to say it was liberating to get up to speed in the Boston 10 and try it out. I know that Ben Johnson over on Instagram, he's been running in this shoe at some top speeds, and it did feel pretty decent there. But I still struggle to see how any of that midsole technology they've incorporated here has any real benefit to the runner. There's just no real noticeable advantage to me to having those rods in there, or the plate. I think perhaps the additional firmer cushion here that you've got between the Adidas 6 and the Boston 10 could be of benefit to some heavier built runners, perhaps someone that's after some significant cushion for a large number of miles, but that's quite a niche sort of market, I think, and thus I don't really understand where this shoe fits into any rotation. So the long run today has left me with more questions rather than providing answers. A mysterious shoe. I wonder if I'll ever get to the bottom of it. I'll keep trying. Have you picked up the Boston 10, guys? Is it working for you, or have you returned it and cut your losses? Let me know in the comments below. A musical interlude for you now. I've included Nick Drake a few times on the musical interludes, but when summer comes around I always pull out the Nick Drake vinyls and the CDs once again. There's a couple of tracks that really capture that real summer feeling. Riverman is one of those tunes. You can imagine this almost hazy riverside scene with Nick Drake just trotting down, you know, to meet this guy, perhaps lives down on the river on a barge or something. It's got such a wonderful, strange time signature. Reminds me a little bit of the track called Pyramid Song by Radiohead. There's very few people that can figure out Riverman or how the time signature works. It's just a song that you want to absorb and listen to. So interesting. It doesn't have a 4/4 banging beat and the same old instrumentation. This is something magical and mysterious. From the Morning is another beautiful song by Nick Drake. Lovely finger-picking style. Such a beautiful sound from his guitar as well. You can hear every little nuance of each time he strikes the strings. And it's got a beautiful vocal, and the lyrics are just really wonderful. Beautiful kind of sentimental tune. Go and listen to some Nick Drake while drinking a nice cool glass of water. It'll refresh your mind and your ears. Okay, I'm going to go and leap into my ice bath now, because it's really warm in here. I have a quick shout out for Graham Timpson of the Chichester Runners. I've been reliably informed he's running the South Downs Relay on the 24th of July. Sounds like he's been training very hard. I wish you best of luck on that race, and thanks for tuning in, Graham. Hey guys, so you joined me at about 4.5 miles in to my long run on a Sunday, testing out the Boston 10 today from Adidas. It's a shoe initially I didn't really like all that much, I wasn't that keen on it. Just feels a bit clunky. It's opening up a little bit now, but not a lot. I mean, I'm going at a really sustainable pace today because it's warm here in the UK. A lot of you have been saying it's not that warm, but it is for us in the UK. Foam's softening up a little bit, but nothing that I would say changes my initial view that much. So as usual, on the longer run, I'm going to throw in a few faster miles towards the end. So from the halfway point, which is got about a third of a mile, I'm going to switch it up, half marathon pace, and then slower recovery mile. Do 3 of those, inject a little bit of difference into it, so I don't go completely mad running at this sort of sustainable speed. So first faster mile down, 6 minutes 52, so happy with that, especially with the conditions. Just making sure to take it easy now to bring my heart rate back down. I had a lot of issues today with the heart rate sensor where I'm sweating so much. It seems to play havoc with it and it keeps going to 0. It's just undetectable, which is a bit weird. Not happened before, only when it's been very wet, so maybe that's it. Just doesn't like moisture that much. Still vastly more accurate though than I get from anything on my wrist. I think I'm getting a bit more used to the heat. Yeah, it's never going to be natural to me in any way. I've always preferred cooler temperatures, always. So the other 2 faster miles just about made it. There's just too many people around. People everywhere. They all seem to be in some sort of trance, unable to be aware of anything that's going on around them, especially when some moron in a pair of Boston 10s is running towards them, or behind them, or to the side. Thousands of dogs around, but I'm pretty happy with the effort today. It's always going to be tough. 12 miles in the bag then. Just under 8 minutes per mile average, which is great. Happy with that. And now for a nice ice bath, I think that's the only thing that got me through the last couple of miles. Not that I have any ice, so I just have to have a wonderful cold shower. Mr. Bird thinks that cold showers are, they're not normal. But there's lots of things about me that she suggests are not normal, that are weird. Stay safe, people, and keep running. Hope you've enjoyed today's video, guys. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when we roll them out for you. And it really helps the channel too if you give this video a thumbs up like and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you